In this video, we explain every continent. Let's find out which one is underrated. Let's dive right in.
Africa, the birthplace of humanity. It's not just rich in history, it's rich in everything. Africa has 54 countries, over 1.4 billion people, and speaks more than 2,000 languages. It's where the Nile, the longest river in the world, flows. But did you know Lake Victoria is so wide, some think it's an ocean at first glance? Africa has the youngest population on Earth, with 70% of sub-Saharan Africans under 30. It's home to the Sahara, the largest hot desert, but also has lush rainforests and snow-tipped mountains. Africa holds over 30% of the world's mineral reserves, including 90% of its platinum, 70% of its tantalite, and 50% of its gold.
This is very solid for one of his first videos. Props to him. And the stats, insane flex. Like 70% under 30 means Africa is basically the world's biggest Gen Z group project, powered by platinum, gold, and Wi-Fi arguments. The continent is giving future superpower vibes, and history's kinda on its side. Egypt pyramids to Afrobeats domination, not a bad resume.
Yet, despite such natural wealth, many countries face economic and political challenges. Africa's combined GDP is around $3.1 trillion and it's rising. Countries like Nigeria, Egypt, and South Africa are economic powerhouses. Ethiopia's economy has been one of the fastest growing in the world. Africa has huge potential, with solar energy, agriculture, and tech startups booming in places like Kenya and Rwanda. Think of Africa not just as ancient lands, but the future's next giant.
Calling Africa the future's next giant hits hard because yeah, $3.1 trillion GDP sounds massive, but it's basically Apple plus a couple Teslas. The real kicker is Ethiopia sprinting into the global economy while Kenya and Rwanda become startup playgrounds. It's like Silicon Valley, but with better weather and actual safaris. The irony? Sitting on half the world's gold and platinum, yet still hustling through political drama. If Africa nails stability, the 21st century could have a very different main character.
If you're enjoying this breakdown, don't forget to tap the like button. It's like high-fiving the YouTube algorithm. Asia, the biggest, most crowded, and most diverse continent on Earth. Asia is home to over 4.8 billion people, nearly 60% of the world's population. It spans from Arctic tundras in Siberia to tropical beaches in Indonesia. Asia holds Mount Everest, the tallest mountain, and the Dead Sea, the lowest land point on Earth. It includes China, the most populous country, and Maldives, one of the smallest. Asia is the heart of ancient civilizations, from Mesopotamia to the Indus Valley to Imperial China. Its GDP is over $40 trillion, with China and Japan ranking among the top global economies. India is quickly rising too, with a booming tech and space sector. Asia produces more than half of the world's food. It dominates in rice, wheat, and spice exports. Its natural resources include oil in the Middle East, rare earth metals in China, and massive coal reserves. Asia also leads in technology, manufacturing, and innovation. Just think Samsung, Toyota, Huawei, or TSMC. But it's not all wealth. Asia also faces geopolitical tensions, population pressure, and environmental issues. Yet no other continent feels more like the engine of the 21st century.
That closer engine of the 21st century isn't even exaggeration. Asia is basically running the world's group project. China mass produces, Japan fine-tunes, India codes the back end, and Samsung just makes sure everyone has a phone to doom scroll on. The contrast is wild too. Everest literally touching the sky while the Dead Sea sulks below sea level. And let's be real, 4.8 billion people means if Asia sneezes, the rest of the planet catches a cold and probably buys tissues made in Asia.
Europe, small in size, huge in influence. Europe is the second smallest continent, but it has over 740 million people packed into 44 countries. It gave the world democracy, the Renaissance, the Industrial Revolution, and way too many wars. It's home to Russia, the largest country, and Vatican City, the smallest nation. You can drive across 15 countries in a single day. Europe holds some of the richest nations, like Germany, France, and Switzerland, with a combined GDP of over $25 trillion. It's a continent of ancient cathedrals, modern tech, and everything in between. Europe has minimal natural resources, but it makes up for that with human capital, science, engineering, and high-value industries. The European Union, a 27-nation bloc, is one of the biggest economic and political alliances. Europe also ranks top for quality of life, education, and healthcare. But challenges? Plenty. An aging population, immigration debates, and energy dependency. Still, Europe remains a cultural and intellectual superpower. From Shakespeare to Picasso, Mozart to Tesla, Europe helps shape how the world thinks.
It's crazy. Europe really is the 5'6" guy who runs the group chat. Tiny landmass, massive ego. It speed ran human history, democracy, Renaissance, Industrial Revolution, and way too many multiplayer wars. No oil? No problem. Europe just pumped out Mozart, Picasso, and Tesla. And driving through 15 countries in a day, that's less road trip and more continent speed run.
North America, a continent of extremes. It holds Canada, the second largest country, and St. Kitts and Nevis, one of the smallest. North America has 579 million people, and just 3 major nations, the US, Canada, and Mexico, dominate the region. It's where you find Niagara Falls, the Grand Canyon, and Greenland, the largest island in the world. The US alone has a GDP of over $28 trillion, making it the largest economy on Earth. Canada is rich in natural resources, like timber, oil, and freshwater, while Mexico is a manufacturing and cultural giant. North America has some of the most fertile farmland, with the Midwest feeding millions. It's also the media capital of the world, home to Hollywood, and the birthplace of fast food. It leads in military power, technological innovation, and space exploration. Yet, it also struggles with inequality, immigration issues, and climate disasters. Still, this continent remains the most influential in global pop culture and politics.
North America really is the land of extremes. $28 trillion GDP on one side, Taco Bell drive-thru on the other. The US plays global boss fight with its economy and military. Canada hoards timber and maple syrup like DLC loot, and Mexico carries the vibes with culture and manufacturing. Throw in Hollywood plus fast food, and you've basically got the world's brainwashing machine. But yeah, inequality and climate chaos keep reminding everyone this isn't exactly easy mode.
South America, the continent of rhythm, rainforest, and raw power. Home to over 430 million people and 12 countries, it holds the Amazon River, the world's largest by volume, and the Amazon rainforest, which creates 20% of the planet's oxygen. South America is mountains and mystery, from the Andes to Machu Picchu. It's rich in lithium, copper, oil, and agricultural exports like soybeans, coffee, and beef. Countries like Brazil, Argentina, and Chile are economic leaders, with a combined GDP of around $4 trillion. Brazil alone is in the top 10 world economies. South America is the world's top lithium source, key for future battery technology. It also dominates in renewable energy, with over 60% of electricity coming from hydropower. But it's not without issues. Political instability, inequality, and deforestation are big concerns. Still, with its youthful population and massive natural wealth, South America could be a green energy superpower in the near future.
South America feels like nature's flex tape. Amazon pumping out 20% of Earth's oxygen, Andes towering like a stone spine, and Brazil casually sitting in the world's top 10 economies. Add lithium mines, plus 60% hydropower, and the continent looks like the cheat code for green energy. But yeah, political chaos and deforestation keep nerfing the potential. Still, between coffee, beef, and future EV batteries, South America is basically the planet's caffeine, protein, and power bank.
Australia, Oceania, the island continent with a wild twist. Oceania includes Australia, New Zealand, and thousands of islands like Fiji, Samoa, and Papua New Guinea. Australia is the 6th largest country, but the continent's total population is just around 44 million. It's where kangaroos roam, koalas nap, and the Great Barrier Reef, the largest coral system, glows underwater. Oceania is known for its remote beauty and Pacific cultures, some of which trace back over 50,000 years. Australia's GDP is over $1.7 trillion, and it's loaded with natural resources like iron ore, coal, gold, and natural gas. It's a major exporter to Asia, especially China. New Zealand focuses on agriculture, tourism, and green energy. Oceania is also on the front lines of climate change, with many island nations at risk of going underwater. But it's also a leader in sustainability, biodiversity, and lifestyle. Think of Oceania as small in size, but rich in uniqueness.
Oceania is like the world's quirky side quest, tiny population, giant landmass, and wildlife that looks like it was designed on random creature generator. Australia cashes in with $1.7 trillion GDP and resource exports, while New Zealand farms sheep in Lord of the Rings tourism. The Pacific Islands, absolutely stunning, but also first in line for climate change's eviction notice. Small, remote, and unique, basically the indie continent with blockbuster scenery.
Antarctica, the frozen giant. It's not a country. It's a continent covered in ice. It has 0 permanent residents, but up to 5,000 scientists live there in research stations. Antarctica holds 90% of the world's ice and 70% of its fresh water. It's also the driest, coldest, and windiest place on Earth. Despite the harshness, scientists have found fossils, meteorites, and even signs of ancient rainforests beneath the ice. Antarctica has no official economy, but nations cooperate under the Antarctic Treaty to keep it peaceful and preserved for science. However, there's interest in its natural resources, like oil and gas beneath the ice, though drilling is banned. It's also a critical climate indicator, with melting ice affecting sea levels worldwide. Antarctica may seem empty, but it's one of the most important pieces of Earth's climate puzzle. That's every continent explained, and now you know way more than just their names. Which one surprised you the most? Drop your favorite continent down below and tell us something you know about it. And hey, if you made it this far, you're not just a viewer, you're a learner. So give that like button a gentle smash, hit subscribe, and keep exploring the world with us. Thanks for watching and see you next time.
It's true. Antarctica being both the emptiest and most important continent is such a plot twist, like the quiet kid in class who secretly holds the answers to everything. 90% of the world's ice, that's basically Earth's freezer. Fossils of ancient rainforests under the ice make it feel like a time capsule of forgotten worlds, while the Antarctic Treaty is one of the rare times humans actually agreed to share nicely. It's harsh, alien, and yet absolutely vital. Proof that sometimes the coldest places hold the hottest secrets. Cool James Explains did an amazing job with this video. Link is in the description. Next time we'll dive into something completely different, but just as surprising. Stay nerdy.